Discussing the CBSE NET paper for Psychology paper 3. Now paper 3, as we know, has 75 questions, so we will be taking 3 lectures where we will be covering 25 questions in each lecture. Now this time paper 3 was based on lot of recent researches, so a lot of questions were either asked on the topics that were relevant from the perspective of current affairs or had some kind of psychological researches in that area. Now the first question here was, the factors that influence social behavior and thoughts in certain way are called as, the correct answer here would be mediating behavior. The reason being, mediating behavior, a variable is a variable that intervenes between the dependent variable and the independent variable. Now for example, if I talk about social support and my adherence to some kind of activity. So I have social support on one side and I have adherence to any activity. Now these can be related, or if there is more social support, there would be more of motivation, and this more motivation would lead to more adherence to certain kind of activities. So this motivation here becomes a mediating variable. So this is how we understand the mediating variable, and these are important variables in case of social behaviors and thought processes. Next question. Now when we talk about this question, it's important to understand the Kohlberg's three stages. The first is the pre-conventional, then you have the conventional, and finally the post-conventional. The pre-conventional talks about immediate me, or is concrete about an individual. So it talks about cognitive abilities centered within an individual. So it's just me that it focuses on. Conventional approach talks about focusing one's behavior and getting influenced by either parents or relatives or neighbors or the first level of society that a child interacts with. And finally you have the post-conventional stage, which is the stage of, I could say, decision making and logical viewpoint. So these are the 3 stages that Kohlberg talked about. Now definitely, as we can see here, in the pre-conventional stage we do not talk about morality and social customs and value because it's centered onto me, and here decisions are made based on the reward and the punishment that is being given. So reason is correct but assertion is incorrect. So the correct answer would be 4. Next question. Researchers show that following does not contribute to teachers' effectiveness. Now communication skills will definitely affect the teaching methodology or the effectiveness of a teacher. The use of information and communication technology would affect, and finally you have students' feedback that would also affect the teacher's effectiveness in the classroom. But years of experience and educational qualifications, as per some of the recent studies, are not an important criteria to determine how effective the teaching methodology of an individual is or how effective a teacher is. A person can have, I could say, 30 or 40 years of experience but cannot explain his viewpoint correctly, and again a person can be very highly qualified but cannot explain his viewpoint correctly. So these two, as per some of the recent researchers, are not an important indicator to determine the effectiveness of teaching. Next, you have some of the rating scales, and what is asked is to match them with the correct patterns. So you have the graphic rating scale, which talks about performance factors on an incremental basis. Then you have behaviorally anchored rating scales that talk about actual job related behavior along a continuum. Individual rating ranks from best to worst. So you have this. And finally the group order talks about the rating of employees on the classification of some of the qualities. So these are the correct matches for this question. Now this is a kind of very direct question which is asked about what the definition of these scales are. So this was a kind of simple question. Next question. You have the various, the DSM is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. Now DSM 4 and 5, there were some changes. The DSM-4 was the previous version of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. Under this, anxiety was classified as one group. Later on, under DSM-5, you had three categories. So under DSM-5, what was there was, you had anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorders, and trauma or stresses related disorder. So this anxiety was broken down into further three sections under DSM-5. Now OCD is a disorder of thought and is classified in schizophrenia spectrum is incorrect. So assertion is incorrect. Evidences show that combination of pharmacotherapy and psychotherapy are best for OCD. That's correct. Pharmacotherapy has been widely used in obsessive compulsive disorders, and nowadays there have been research findings that have proved some of the psychotherapies are well established for OCD. So reason is correct. So you have assertion as false but reason as true. Next question. Phonemic restoration as we perceive a speech in a noisy environment is. Now, if you are going to a party, what is happening? You are talking to someone, but there are n number of people around, and all of them are communicating in one way or the other. But still, you are talking to one person, and you are able to understand what he is saying despite of the loud noise around. Why that happens? That happens due to the phenomena of phonemic restoration, because you are able to, I could say, you have the cognitive ability to understand the context and then filter down or perceive the important information from the whole set of information that is being discussed there. So it's a kind of top-down processing. So you are trying to assimilate whatever is important in that perspective. So phonemic restoration is a kind of top-down processing. Next question. Now this is a direct definition of sensitization. So sensitization is feeling touchy or hypersensitive after an I could say upset experience or an experience that was not good. So this is what is the definition of sensitization. Next. Entry of information into long-term memory depends on. Now from the given choices, primary memory is the short-term memory. It's the another name for short-term memory. Maintenance rehearsal is you already know something and you are just trying to retain that or maintain that. Elaborative rehearsal is a kind of dress rehearsal, I could say, where you are trying to understand or develop more concepts based on the existing memory. Method of loci helps you to increase the memory. So what these two, elaborative and method of loci, are doing is they are trying to enter the information from short-term memory to long-term memory. So one is by relating words, so that is method of loci, and finally you have you have some idea about something and you are trying to elaborate that, or you are trying to understand that in greater detail. So B and C are the correct answers here. So 4 would be the correct choice. Next question. Now if I say I have seen a wolf and I perceive this as dog, what would it be? This would be a classic example of prototype. Reason being, in prototype what we try to understand is we try to perceive things based on the external stimuli or the external prototype, I could say, or the external parameters. So wolf is being perceived similar to dog is just because of the prototype. Next question. Which of the following is the final destination for much of the brain's information about emotion before action is taken? So the correct answer here is prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex, if this region is damaged in the brain, a person will not have the ability to do rational judgments. Therefore, when we will be discussing about emotions, we will be talking about the mechanism of emotion. We will be discussing this in detail, where we will understand how this mechanism works about. So the answer is prefrontal cortex. Next question. Kettle propounded GF and GC theory. Now GF and GC means fluid intelligence and crystallized intelligence. So GF is fluid and GC is crystallized. So these are based on the second order factors of ability. Now you can see in this diagram, you have the primary abilities, then you have the GF, GC, GY, GC and so on. Okay, and you finally have the general ability. So this is the first spectrum, second order spectrum and the third order spectrum. So as you can see here, this is the GF and GC are the second order abilities. Next, which of the following are the elements in Carl Roger's person-centered theory of personality and psychotherapy? So when Carl Rogers talked about the humanistic approach, or I could say the person-centered theory, he focused on three things. He focused on ideal self, congruence and positive regard. He did not talk about dissonance. So the correct answer here would be A, B and C. So we will be covering this in further details when we will be talking about the Rogers theory. Now the global 5 factors. Let's first understand what are the global 5 factors. So when I say global 5 factors, you have ocean. That's the best way to remember it. So openness, consciousness, extraversion, agreeableness and neuroticism. These are the 5 parameters that are studied under the global 5 factors of personality. And this refers to second order of the 16 PF latest edition. So 16 PF was the inventory that was given, the 16 personality factor, and when the second order of the 16 PF was understood, he was able to explain the global 5s or the concept of oceans. Next question. You have the assertion and reason question. Now this was based on the recent rape case the Nirbhay case that happened in Delhi. So A is correct, but reason is incorrect because hormones play an important role in regulation of sexual behavior. So reason is incorrect, but assertion is correct. So 3 would be the correct answer. Next question. Now this is a question directly based on what is the just world hypothesis. Just world hypothesis believes that helpful individuals perceive the world as fair and much more predictable, in which good behavior is rewarded and bad behavior is punished, and people believe in just world. So this is what is the just world hypothesis. We also called it a cognitive biasness or just world fallacy. So it's a direct question based on this. So if you know the hypothesis, you know the concept. So you have both the reasons as correct and reason as the correct explanation. So 1 would be the correct answer. Next question. Which of the following best defines maturation? Now there is a brief difference between growth and maturation. Growth simply talks about the physical development. In turn, maturation talks about the physical, intellectual, emotional and psychological development. So here it is the basis for physical and psychological development is the correct answer. Example of maturation can be if a child has lost some of his close relatives in very early childhood, that child would be much more matured in terms of the environment around him or her because of the physical and the psychological developments. But this does not relate to growth, because growth would be same for say 5 years of child. The growth would remain same, but the maturation may vary from child to child. Next question. Leaders exert powerful effect on followers through the attribution followers make about them. Now this is the definition of the charismatic leader. And they are self-confident and have environmental sensitivity. Now both these are correct. So I can say both of them are correct, but they are independent statements. They do not explain anything about one or the other. Next question is again based on DSM. Now there were three questions on DSM this time. So one we had already discussed how DSM-4 included just anxiety, and DSM-5 talked about the three components of anxiety. Now here let's first understand the 5 axes given under DSM. In the next question again there is a similar question. We won't be discussing those 5 categories again. So you had axis 1 that talked about clinical disorders. Axis 2 that talked about personality disorders. Then you had axis 3 that talked about medical conditions. Axis 4 that talked about psychosocial stressors. And axis 5 that talked about global assessment of functioning. So these were the 5 axes. Now based on these I can say axis 1 talked about clinical conditions, and this was known as V code in kind of clinical language that they use. So you have V code and clinical conditions as the correct answer. So answer would be 1. Next question. You have 4 important elements of the theory of signal detection. Now if I draw the diagram for signal detection, you would have yes or no as response, presence and absence as signal detection. So see, these are the signal detection and this is the response, and based on that I can say it is hit, you have miss, then you have correct rejection and false alarm. So you have correct rejection and false alarm. So these are the 4 important elements. So hit, miss, correct rejection and false alarm would be the answer here. So this would be covered under the signal detection theory in detail. Next question. Now this is the theory of Hull, which talked about hierarchy of response, and this goes as drive Q, you have response, and finally extinction. So when Hull talked about the hierarchy of response, he said you have first innate response that occurs. If it does not elevate the need, then you would go on to the second pattern. If this does not elevate the need, you would go on to the third pattern, and this continues. But if none of the behavior is effective in reducing the need, what would happen? There would be a phenomena which is known as learning dilemma. Under learning dilemma, what would happen is the person would be so confused about what to learn or not to learn, and he'll keep on trying until and unless one of the drives or one of the needs is satisfied. So D would be the incorrect option here. So you have A, B and C as the correct choice. That's 1. Next question. Gia has written a list of words for the activity. She remembers what is at the beginning and what is at the last. Now this is a direct question on the serial position effect. So the things towards the starting of the list and things towards the end of the list. The starting of the list and the end of the list are remembered and remembered best. So that is what is serial position effect. Now similar question was also asked in paper 2 also. So as you can see, there are replication of some of the questions or some of the similar concepts from one paper to another this time, which did not happen in June examination. So the correct answer is serial position. Next question. Now you have to find out the correct order of the subject expected utility hypothesis. Under this, a person tries to maximize his pleasure and minimize his pain. So maximizing pleasure would be a kind of positive vector and minimizing pain would be a kind of negative vector. When the person is trying to do that, first of all, he'll try to assign the utilities. Then he will evaluate the likelihood of alternatives. Once he has the utilities and likelihoods, he will weigh those utilities by the likelihood and finally assess the consequences. The order will be A, C, B and D. So A, C, B and D would be the correct order of steps in the subjective expected utility model. Next question. The brief stress enhances the immune system as evident. So this is immune system as evident by the action of. Now this is a part of one of the recent researches, and the correct answer here would be T cells. T cells detect the endogenous activities while B cell detect the exogenous factors. So you have T cells as the correct answer. However, all these three, macrophages, T cells and B cells, are part of WBC or the white blood cells. But enhancing the activity of immune system, the correct answer would be T cells. Next question. The Torrance test of creative thinking. Now, Torrance test of creative thinking figures out verbal as well as figural activities. When we talk about verbal activities, it talks about fluency, flexibility, and originality. So, these three things are the traits of personality. Therefore, the correct answer here would be creative personality, where traits of personality modulate a creative behavior. The final question here. Personality assessment in forensic settings use which of the following psychometric and behavioral measures? Now, when we are talking about forensic studies, we are dealing with both criminal cases as well as civil cases. So, when I say we are dealing both criminal and civil cases, we are mainly dealing with suspects. So, you have galvanic skin response, part of lie detector, that would be correct. Okay. Then you have the continuous performance test of an individual, and finally the Millen's clinical multi-axial inventory. All these three are used under forensic studies. So the correct answer would be A, B and C. With this we covered the first 25 questions of the paper 3 Psychology December 2015. We will be covering the next set in the subsequent class. If you have any doubts about any of the question, you can leave those as comment below and we'll be more than happy to answer it. Have a good day ahead.